we are on to the actual yay threading portion. So before we get started, I wanted to make this available. If you wanted my references, I've got them listed there. The Easy Weavings with Supplemental Warps. This is where I actually got most of the idea for doing this. Then I used Treadle.com to create the draft, and houndweaving.net found me a couple of nice overdraft drafts that I wanted to use in this particular turned pattern. So I am offering this draft that I created for free. There are no strings attached. If you want to create many of these and sell them, I really, unlike so many other drafts, I don't care. Feel free. Do what you can. Have at it. Okay, now that that's out of the way, this, real quick, I'm going to show you my setup. So, I have, and the dog in the background, I have my loom all set up. As we've already seen, I've got it rolled on, wound onto the back, and we are ready for the threading. So I have my handy dandy short stool so that I can actually get eye level with my harnesses and my heddles. I have removed the beater bars so that I have a much better visual, and I have my full draft printed out thread by thread, my handy scissors, which I usually have a pair on my hip as well, and my pencil so that I can mark them off as I thread every single one. Alright, I'm going to move this camera so that we have a better angle of my hands, and let's get started. Alright, so we've got all of our chains on, and I want you to note they are not all the same length. This does happen. You know, you're going to wind on one chain slightly tighter than the other chain, or maybe the other one is a little too loose or something like that. But that's okay. Once they're up on the loom, pull them out and try to get them as close to the same length as possible, and you've got the loops that you have to cut off anyway so that you have individual threads. So I'm pulling these up to my beater bar, and I am cutting them along the beater bar edge. Now, I also have a nice little trash can over here, so I'm just going to toss them into the trash can. If you don't have a trash can near your loom, you're going to have a mess on the floor next to your loom. So I highly recommend a trash can near your loom. It doesn't have to be big. Mine is small, but very, very handy. Okay, so I'm going to do the supplemental warp first, and just cut that there, and miss the trash can. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same thing, but notice that I cut them separately. I did not pull the supplemental and the background warp at the same time. So I'm doing these separately because they are at different heights, and I want to make sure that we keep that difference. Notice I'm also doing each chain separately. No, I actually have no reason for doing that. I just simply did it. Half of the things that I do, I don't really have a reason, a good explanation for. It's just something that I do. And please forgive my dog crying at me. Crowley, I'm sorry, sweetie. Mommy's busy. We'll play later. Okay. No, he's not a puppy. He is 4 years old and spoiled rotten, as I'm sure you've figured out. My Rhodesian Ridgeback is still hanging out in her bed. And I'm sure that Gino, our wolfhound-like mutt has decided that he's going to go dig another hole. So, all of that, that's great. Let's get started. I have my draft here, and the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to move all of my heddles to one side. That makes it much easier, and I am right-handed, so I always start on the right-handed side. If you're left-handed, it might be easier to start from the bottom and thread up that way. Why are you not moving? That's a good question. Oh! Because I have not loosened up that harness. Anyway, yes, I am right-handed, so I do all of my weaving from right to left. However, if you are left-handed, you can do this all from the back end, from the left-hand side, and there's no right or wrong. If you do thread your heddles from the left-hand side, start at the bottom of the draft and work your way up. That also reminds me, when you're looking at a draft, I'll show you real quick here. When you're starting on a draft, unlike regular weaving or reading, you're going to actually start on this side and read from right to left on each of these. So if you are going to, if you're left-handed and you wanted to start on the left-hand side, then you will start at the bottom and read left to right going up. Okay? Okay. Quick lesson. So we will start, and we've got, the first one is on harness, harness 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I really do enjoy being able to work from the bottom there. And it is a plain weave, so I am going to pull the first plain weave. Because the background draft is a plain weave, we do not have to have floating selvages at all. So every single thread is going through a heddle. Okay, that is pulled through. I have my pencil. I am marking it off. The next 4 are 8, 7, 6, and 5. So we go 8. And 7, and 6, and 5, and you can double check at the bottom to make sure that you have them actually correct. I do it from the bottom because I've got a great visual here. It looks like I need to clean these. If you have a greater visual up at the top, great, do it. But this is the easiest way for me to do it. Okay, these are also plain weave. We have 41 ends of plain weave. So I am going to slide this supplemental warp out of the way so that I can access my plain weave. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pull those out of the way. Pull them up and through. And the first 2, it goes 8, 7. So we're gonna actually scooch those 2 over, grab just those 2. Use your tools wisely. Notice that I used that hook to be able to pull these through, right? Use your tools wisely. All right, the first string is 8. So pull that through. The next one is 7. We'll pull that through. And then we're going to grab the other 2. And we have 6 and 5. Now I'm going to do that for 41 ends. And then we're going to kind of come back and I'm going to show you how to deal with the supplemental ends. Okay, we are very close to being ready to thread the supplemental. And real quick, I wanted to show you. So on my draft, you can see that I have marked off the ones that I've threaded already, and I have 4 more to go before I hit the first color. So the easiest way to double check how many you've done and if you're in the right spot, especially with plain weave, go ahead and count how many iterations you've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that's the 10th one. So every single one of them ends with heddle 5 or harness 5. So the easiest way to do that is count how many sets you have. So that's what I'm going to do. I've got, and obviously I've got my first one over there. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I was absolutely correct in that I have done 9 iterations. After about 10, maybe 40 to 50 threads, I always go back and double check to make sure that I have everything threaded properly, just to be on the safe side. Then I do a half loop here. I don't like knots, remember. So I'll do a half knot there or a half loop there, just to double check to make sure that everything is cool. All right, so I know that I have 4 more to do before I hit my supplemental. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Move those over. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and pull them together into that. So that is the entire first 41 ends in our background weave. Now we're going to start on the colors. So my draft says that the first 2 are harness 1 and harness 8. Harness 1 is the purple. Harness 8 is your background, right? So we're going to do 1 pattern, 1 background, 1 pattern, 1 background, 1 pattern, 1 background throughout this entire thing. So I grab the first color, I'll pull it through and move it out. And then I'm coming down here and I'm pulling from the background draft, okay? There's 1, there's 8. Mark it down. All right, now I need 4 and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Way back here. I've got them back there. Okay, there's 4 and 7. Okay, so 4 is, why is that caught? Why is that not moving? Because it ended up coming up. Are these all loose now? Yes, those are all loose now. Okay, so 4 is the next color. I'll pull that through, and then I'll go to 7, which is a plain, right? So we've got our background. The background is still going to go 8, 7, 6, 5, 8, 7, 6, 5 throughout the entire pattern. The whole draft is going to be 8, 7, 6, 5 for your background draft. Your pattern draft is what's really going to be different. Okay, so be careful, watch that. All right, and we've got harness 3 and harness 6 next. So harness 3 is my color. Harness 6 is my next background. Mark it down. 2 and 4, 5. 2 is the color. 5 is your background. The nice thing about doing your draft with colors in Excel is that you know that when you get to the next one and it says it's gold, you can come here and say, oh great, I do actually have a gold. I've done it right. It's very exciting. I am a very logical, analytical kind of person, which, you know, I play devil's advocate a lot simply because I am that kind of a logical person. But the Excel sheets in this logical way really, really, really help to emphasize how your weaving is going to go and how you can easily do this. It's not as scary as some people think it is. It is really not that scary as long as you can put an analytical mind to it and break it down into your slower, smaller pieces. Remember, I'm a project coordinator, project manager, so that's what I do. I break everything down into smaller, manageable pieces in a timely fashion. So now we're on number 3 and the plain weave of 6. And there is 6. All right, so color pattern 3, plain weave of, where are you? When they get caught like that, sometimes pulling down underneath can help sort them out. This is why you have a crest, so that you know exactly which color is next, or which thread is next. Okay? Alright, so there we go. And mark it down. I cannot, she says with her threading hook in her mouth, I cannot emphasize how much marking them down can completely and utterly eliminate any threading issues you might have. As you thread them, mark them down that you have threaded them. I know that a lot of drafts don't have, they'll just have, okay, here's the first part of the pattern, you're going to do that 3 times. Here's the next part of the pattern, you'll do that once. Here's the next part of the pattern, you're going to do this 16 times. When you have that in your Excel spreadsheet, mark them out. I have this pattern, so you put that in your spreadsheet and then copy and paste it 16 times. Then you have every single thread that you need so you can mark them down as you do them. Okay, that was 5 and 4, and now we're on to 3 and 8. Okay, I'm going to continue this entire draft in this manner. Okay, so we're going to finish up the colors. Then I'm gonna do looks like 123 ends of plain weave, and then we're going to do the same thing that I'm doing right now with the colors with this second bit. And then all the way back here, when we're almost done, I'm going to finish up with the final supplemental so that everything is threaded in order per the draft. Stay tuned. I'll post another video after this.